Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Is my voice clear to all of you?
Walaikum Assalam, sir. Yes,
Walaikum salam,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
वालेकुम सलाम सर।
Let's start the class.
Walaikum Assalam, sir.
वालेकुम।
Okay, so today we are going to talk about what is the prologue. I hope you have bought the book which I have recommended you, the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. So we are not going to do the Canterbury Tales, but we are going to do the prologue. Prologue को हम थोड़ा पढ़ेंगे और इसके हवाले से we will discuss some important topics or points. So today, this is lecture number 4, and it's about what is the prologue. So how many of you have bought the book? Can anyone? How many of you have bought the book? Yes. Does anybody have anything related to the prologue? Yes.
सर
Yes.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर
Yes, please.
सर ऐसा कोई इवेंट और जो भी एक्ट हो जो दूसरे एक्ट को लीड करे तो उसी को हम प्रोलॉग कहते हैं
Prologue.
या
तो
इन
actually
लिटरली न्यूमेरिक वे।
प्रोलॉग इसे नहीं कहेंगे। प्रोलॉग जो है इट इज़ द बिगिनिंग। अभी आपको बताता हूँ प्रोलॉग के बारे में। लेकिन मैंने आप लोगों से कहा था कि एक किताब मैंने आपसे कहा था कि आप लोग वो खरीद लीजिएगा, द प्रोलॉग टू कैंटरबरी टेल्स, और मैंने दुकान का भी बता दिया ताकि आप लोगों को परेशानी ना हो। किसी ने खरीदी नहीं तो बुक नहीं होगी तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी आप लोगों को।
Yes, sir. खरीद।
किसने खरीदी है? कितनों ने खरीदी है?
सर मैं अनीता सत्तार, मैंने खरीदी है।
अनीता सत्तार ने खरीदी है। और इसके अलावा किसी ने खरीदी है? ये और किसी ने अनीता सत्तार के अलावा किसी और ने बुक को खरीदी है?
यस सर।
जी। तो दो स्टूडेंट्स हो गए। एनी अदर स्टूडेंट हु हैज बॉट दिस बुक? यस। अच्छा, अगर आप सिर्फ टेक्स्ट मैंने जो आप लोगों को बुक बताई, अगर वो आप खरीद ले, बाय दैट बुक, सो दैट बुक विल गिव यू मोर थिंग्स टू रीड एंड इट विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग फॉर यू। लेकिन अगर आप सिर्फ अगर टेक्स्ट पे लेंगे तो टेक्स्ट आपको बहुत मुश्किल पड़ेगा, बिकॉज इट इज़ द लैंग्वेज ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट 600 years back and it is very difficult, it is almost impossible to read if you only directly read the text. तो आपको अगर पैराफ्रेज मिलेगा तो वो आसान हो जाएगा। तो डेफिनेटली आई विल टीच यू थ्रू पैराफ्रेज। Chaucer is called the father of English poetry. Why? Because he was the first to write English poetry, and his language definitely is very difficult to understand. So this is what we have about prologue. So what is prologue? The prologue, before prologue, this is what we have prologue. A prologue is a speech at the beginning of a play, book or film that introduces that play, book or film. So here we are talking about a book. So it is the beginning of a book, and that beginning tells us about that particular thing. So here we are talking about a poem, long narrative poem, and it is the beginning of that poem in which we are being told, जिसमें हमें बताया जा रहा है कि उस poem में क्या क्या होगा, किन चीज़ों के बारे में बताई जाएगी इस poem के अंदर. The prologue introduces us to the background of the action and to the pilgrims who make the company. यानी कि इसमें जो आपके पास है पोएम, लॉन्ग नैरेटिव पोएम, इट इज़ अबाउट पिलग्रिम्स प्रोग्रेस। मीन्स यू विल फाइंड हियर पिलग्रिम्स, जिसको हम उर्दू में हम कहेंगे तो ज़ायरीन हम कह सकते हैं, या जो मतलब मुक़द्दस मकामात की ज़ियारत के लिए जाते हैं, तो इस तरह से उनके यहाँ भी इस तरह का कॉन्सेप्ट है। तो ये उन पिलग्रिम्स के हवाले से हैं, और वो कुछ टेल्स वगैरह, कहानियाँ वगैरह सुनाते हैं, तो उसके हवाले से ये प्रोलॉग बता रहा है कि कितने उसमें पिलग्रिम्स हैं एंड व्हाट आर देयर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, देयर ट्रेट्स और फीचर्स। Chaucer, by means of deft touches and suggestions, causes his pilgrims to grow before our eyes into living entities. तो चौसर ने जिस अंदाज से उसको पेश किया, जिस अंदाज से उसने उसको बताया, so it is something that is very eye catching, and that is why it is said that he was a master of characterization. Chaucer was a master of characterization, and it is said that after Shakespeare, Chaucer is ranked. Chaucer ranks is ranked after Shakespeare. तो शेक्सपियर की कैरेक्टराइजेशन के बाद जिसका नंबर आता है एक्सपर्टीज में, वो है चौसर। So what is this Canterbury Tales? Of course we are not going to do Canterbury Tales, हमने Canterbury Tales को नहीं करनी, लेकिन सिर्फ हमें पता होना चाहिए Canterbury Tales है क्या। So what is Canterbury Tales? Canterbury Tales is a collection of 24 stories which run to over 17,000 lines. यानी कि ये जो Canterbury Tales, ये जो poem है, long narrative poem, this poem consists of 17,000 lines written in Middle English, और इसको लिखा गया है Middle English. Middle English is the English which was written before, which were used before modern English. So it is the product of 14th century. Between 1387 and 1400. Chaucer died in 1400, so it is said that he wrote this work, and जिस साल इसने इसको लिखा तो इसी साल उसकी डेथ भी होगी. So 1387 and 1400 when he completed this one. It is a long poem in which pilgrims who are traveling to Canterbury tell stories. कैंटरबरी एक जगह है, उस जगह को ट्रेवल करते हैं, एक सेंट है, उस सेंट की जो है श्राइन को विजिट करने के लिए. सो दे टेल स्टोरीज. वन ऑफ द मोस्ट फेमस कैरेक्टर्स ऑफ द कैंटरबरी टेल्स इज द वाइफ ऑफ बाथ. इनमें सबसे जो फेमस कैरेक्टर है, और भी देयर आर मेनी अदर फेमस कैरेक्टर्स, बट इट इज वन ऑफ द फेमस कैरेक्टर्स, द वाइफ ऑफ बाथ. द पोएम इज कंसिडर्ड The poem is considered to be one of the greatest works of literature in the Middle English. Middle English में इसको एक अजीम poem और अजीम work के नाम से जाना जाता है. Does anybody have any idea about Chaucer?
So in what way?
चौसर के बारे में आप लोगों ने कभी पढ़ा तो होगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो पता होगा. यू आर द स्टूडेंट ऑफ BS 5th semester. So
Sir, in which way? I mean,
Chaucer definitely as a poet, as a father of English
Sir,
poetry.
Chaucer is the father of English poetry.
Yes, कभी किसी ने कुछ इस हवाले से पढ़ा तो कंट्रीब्यूट शेयर कर सकता है.
सर
No idea? Yes, yes.
सर चौसर जो है मिडिल एज का पोइट, और इसको फादर ऑफ इंग्लिश पोइट्री भी कहा जाता है.
क्यों कहा जाता है?
जो मशहूर है तो जो है ना, इसकी जो पोएम है कैंटरबरी टेल, उसकी वजह से मशहूर है.
एक्चुअली चौसर याद रखिएगा उस दौर में उसने पोएम लिखी थी व्हेन फ्रेंच एंड लैटिन लैंग्वेज they both were dominating. Especially French was dominating because it was Middle English period and English was not of that caliber. So upper class and the people of upper class and those who were writing poetry and other type of literary works, so they were using French language, they were using also Latin. So it was Chaucer who used Middle English for this purpose. So that is why it is said that he is the father of English poetry means English poetry began with Chaucer in a proper manner. Though when we read his English, when we read this with this poem, so it is very difficult to understand. Even जब तक पैराफ्रेज का मतलब उसका जो सिंपल वर्जन है, जब तक हमारे पास नहीं आएगा, हमारे पास सामने ना हो, तो हम उसको समझ ही नहीं सकेंगे. अभी हम सेकंड सेशन में इंशाल्लाह उसको देखेंगे और आप लोगों को बताऊंगा कि हाउ डिफिकल्ट इट इज.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Isn't Chaucer insists the foundation of the Teutonic language?
No, we can't say like this. Actually, Chaucer जिस दौर में लिख रहा था, उसके पास कोई मतलब जो इसने टेक्निक अपनाई ये टेल्स की, ये तो उसके पास था पहले फ्रेंच और इस तरह के कुछ थे राइटर जिन्होंने टेल्स लिखी थी. बट इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज दैट ही यूज, इट इज समथिंग दैट क्रेडिट गोज टू हिम दैट ही यूज मिडिल इंग्लिश फॉर दिस पर्पस. इससे पहले जो अगरचे शायर थे या, बट एक्चुअली they were not as he is. So that is why it is said that he is definitely the father of English poetry. And after him, there is almost a gap of 100 years or more than 100 years. Then you will find the flowering period of Renaissance. फिर आपको Renaissance का flowering period मिलेगा when Renaissance, the time when Shakespeare, Sidney, Spencer, such great poets, and such great, and you'll find Shakespeare dramatist and Marlowe. So these great writers, they started working, and this was the time when drama was at its height, and for drama poetry was used, and poetic form was used, and actually that is the period which came or which comes after 100 years of Chaucer. So Chaucer wrote this poem 100 or more than 100 years before. So you just can imagine the language. You can imagine the status of that language.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन है.
जी जी.
सर चांसर को फादर ऑफ इंग्लिश पोइट्री भी कहा जाता है, तो एक जगह मैंने पढ़ा था फादर ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज भी कहा गया है, लिखा हुआ उधर.
फादर ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज तो मैंने कहीं नहीं पढ़ा, क्योंकि इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज की तो एक लंबी हिस्ट्री है. इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज आपने अगर पढ़ा हो हिस्ट्री, इफ यू हैव रेड हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज, यू मस्ट नो अबाउट ओल्ड इंग्लिश, देन मिडिल इंग्लिश, एंड देन यू विल फाइंड मॉडर्न इंग्लिश. ओल्ड इंग्लिश का जो टाइम पीरियड है, यू विल फाइंड ओल्ड इंग्लिश फ्रॉम 450 व्हेन रोमन्स वर देयर इन इंग्लैंड. रोमन्स के बाद एंग्लो सेक्शंस आए जो जर्मन ट्राइब्स से, फिर जर्मन ट्राइब्स के बाद एंग्लो नॉर्मन्स आए. ठीक है, फिर नॉर्मन्स के बाद नॉर्मन्स का जो टाइम था वो था, उसके बाद जो है आपके पास मिडिल इंग्लिश पीरियड आएगा. मिडिल इंग्लिश पीरियड के बाद जो है आपके पास जो है मॉडर्न इंग्लिश पीरियड है, दैट बिगेन फ्रॉम रेनेसां, मीन्स फ्रॉम 16th सेंचुरी से वो शुरू होता है. So 12 to 1500 का जो टाइम पीरियड है, these 300 years are also called dark ages, because in these ages, these centuries, there was a complete dominance of church, और बहुत ज़्यादा करप्शन और ये सब चीज़ें चर्च में होना शुरू हो गई, एंड जिसकी वजह से they all were get very much disturbed, and they were not allowed to write freely. Free writing or poetry and all such things, they had restrictions upon the literature, and there were many other things. That's why these centuries are called dark ages, or from literature point of view, no freedom. And then Renaissance will find when they broke the shackle, when they broke the chain, and they started writing freely. Or Renaissance began from Italy, and then it reached last in England. So you'll find Chaucer's prologue, which is a very good example of the way he's describing people, of his particular time, marvelous. Now, if you talk about the date of writing the prologue, so we can find that there are many opinions about the date of writing. There are many opinions, different opinions about the actual time when Chaucer wrote the prologue. And it is very much clear that the poet must have taken a very long time for the composition of so long. When we read this poem, the Canterbury Tales, so of course Normally, you'll not find people read this poem completely because it's a very long poem. 17,000 lines means too long poem. तो बहुत ही लंबी poem है. So here in our course we have only the prologue, जो तकरीबन 800-850 लाइंस की है, और हमने सबको पढ़ना भी नहीं है. सिर्फ आपको कुछ मिसालें, कुछ चीज़ें बताऊंगा, and then इंशाल्लाह I will leave to you so that you can also read them, and we'll discuss the characteristic which his poetry has. So it is also said that he must have revised or re-revised and rewritten his poem, since it is so long, and definitely must have worked very hard on it. But now, what does the prologue contain? This is a very important part which you should remember. ये जो है आपको ये ज़हन में रखना होगा और इसको लाजमी देखिएगा. Kindly mute your mic. Mic को mute कर दीजिए. Mute your mic, please. Okay. What does the prologue contain? So the prologue contains Canterbury Tales that opens with the prologue. It contains 858 lines of heroic couplets. Heroic couplet means heroic couplet कोई बताएगा? Can anyone tell me about heroic couplet? पढ़ा तो होगा आप लोगों ने इसके बारे में. Blank verse, heroic couplet. No? Okay. So actually it's a form of it's just like meter. Like we have blank verse in which poetry is written. Shakespeare's poetry, Marlowe's, Dr. Foster's, Shakespeare's plays, they are all written in blank verse. इस तरह T.S. Eliot की जो poem है वो free verse में लिखी हुई है. So he wrote his poem in heroic couplets. Okay, this prologue is Chaucer's introduction to the Canterbury Tales, and it first of all tell us about the background of the ride to Canterbury. यानी जो Canterbury की तरफ जा रहे होते हैं तो उनका बैकग्राउंड पस मंजर बताते हैं. द स्प्रिंग सीजन का जिक्र इसमें आपको मिलेगा. यू विल फाइंड द लंडन इन ऑफ टेबर्ड, एक ये सराय है where people stay, so you'll find also the mention of that in the assembly of pilgrims. Assembly of pilgrims get together, उनका जमा होना at the inn, and the reasons for their journey. Why did they assemble over there to Beckett's cathedral at Canterbury? क्यों वहाँ जाना चाह रहे हैं? The details about the pilgrims one by one. You'll also find their details one by one, their description one by one. The poet's apology to the readers for his natural limitation, और जो problems poet को face करने पड़े Chaucer को, he is also making apology for that. So you'll also find that in this prologue. The host's suggestion to his guests that they should entertain themselves by narrating tales on the ride to Canterbury, and his offer of a free entertainment to the best storyteller. So there is a host who does what? Who suggests the guest that they should entertain themselves, since they are having a journey. चूंकि वो एक लंबे जर्नी पर जा रहे हैं, तो अपने एक दूसरे को एंटरटेन करने के लिए क्यों ना वो एक दूसरे को टेल्स सुनाए. टेल्स कहते हैं कहानियों को, और ताकि तफरी भी हो जाए. और जो ज़्यादा अच्छी कहानी सुनाएगा तो उसको इस लिहाज से वो एक उन्होंने फ्री कुछ इनविटेशन भी दिया कि वो उसको हम इनवाइट करेंगे खाने पे, या जो उसके लिए एक दावत है. सो इट टेल्स अस द एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ द सजेशन बाय द कंपनी ऑफ पिलग्रिम्स जो है उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं. द होस्ट अग्रीमेंट टू द प्रपोजल, होस्ट जो है अग्री करता है उस प्रपोजल से दैट ही शुड अकम्पनी द पिलग्रिम्स एट हिज ओन कॉस्ट and act as their guide, कि वो उनको as a guide उनको जो है accompany करेगा, उनके साथ जाएगा, as a guide उनके साथ रहेगा. The spree at the Tabard at night, after which the pilgrims would go to sleep. उसके बाद और भी कुछ चीज़ें जो उसको mention करता है. the preparation for the first leg of the journey early the next morning. किस तरह से जर्नी का जो किस तरह से प्रिपेयर करेंगे, किस तरह से निकलेंगे, उसका भी द हाउस्ट इंजंक्शन अपॉन द कंपनी फॉर परफेक्ट ओबीडियंस टू हिज कमांड्स, द ड्राइंग ऑफ लॉट्स फॉर डिसाइडिंग द फर्स्ट नरेटर, पर उन्होंने नरेटर के कौन कहानी स्टोरी पहले सुनाएगा, तो उसके लिए भी उन्होंने ड्रॉ लॉट्स जो लॉट्स क्या कहेंगे जैसे हम उर्दू में क्या कहते हैं ड्रॉ लॉट्स को, व्हाट डू वी कॉल इट?
बड़ी बात
लकी
बोली
ड्रॉ,
ना।
जैसे हम लकी ड्रॉ कहते हैं, यानी कि मतलब वो उन्होंने ड्रॉ किया कि भाई
बोलो,
पहले कौन नरेट करेगा कहानी को। आसान आपके घर की जो आवाजें वो हम तक पहुंच रही हैं, आप काइंडली माइक को म्यूट कर लें यार। Please mute your mic. Your voices are coming and your voices are disturbing me and all the students. The night's turn once again. अब मैं जो भी जिनके यहाँ से आवाज माइक म्यूट नहीं होगा मैं उसको निकाल दूंगा भाई. Last warning I am giving. If your mic is not mute, I will remove you from my Zoom class.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can I ask the question?
Yes, please.
Sir, could you tell me the meaning of prologue if you have explained it before?
Yeah, prologue, as I told you, it is a speech in the beginning of any book, speech or writing in the beginning of any book, novel, or any play. They tell us about that particular novel, book, or play. So here you will find the prologue, which is telling us about that poem. It is in the beginning of that poem, which is telling us about that poem, about the characters of that poem. अब इसमें हमें जो प्रोलॉग के जरिए पता चलेगा कि कितने इसके अंदर कैरेक्टर्स हैं और उनकी व्हाट आर देयर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. फिर वो जो कैरेक्टर्स हमें टेल्स सुना रहे हैं, कहानियाँ सुना रहे हैं, दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द पोएम. इज दिस क्लियर? Yes. Yes, is this clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Quick reply करा करें. Okay, so prologue is the beginning of any book or novel, and of course any play which tell us about that particular play. अभी तक students join, they are joining, and it is also a big problem. Chaucer's art of characterization, his realism, and his sense of humor. When we read Chaucer's prologue, so we also realize, how good he was in characterization. What is the meaning of characterization? Characterization, can anyone tell me?
Sir,
Yes, please tell.
The way in which he reflects about the characters of the in the novel, I mean, जिसके बारे में वो लिख रहा है उनको किस तरीके से वो कैरेक्टराइज कर रहा है.
Yeah, characterize. Okay, right, very much right. Actually, to describe character, this is called characterization. In a very, you can say, remember, there are many writers who, when they presented their characters, so they could not give certain, roles or certain description to their characters, and that's why their characters were not lifelike characters, and they lost themselves because of their bad characterization. But if we see or watch the plays of Shakespeare, or if we read this Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, so we can find that they were master of characterization. Why? Because they knew how to do, how to present characters. So here you will find the way Chaucer is presenting his, these characters, outstanding when you read them, their description. So the most remarkable feature of the prologue is the assembly of the portraits of the pilgrims. Assembly means group of the portraits of the pilgrims. These portraits highlight Chaucer's finished art of characterization.
Excuse me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, can you please check the chat box? There are some messages that are unread by you.
Here are some message.
हाँ सब कुछ स्टूडेंट्स है जो वेट कर रहे हैं क्लास का, आप
हाँ,
उन्हें प्लीज एक्सेप्ट कर।
मैं वही तो कह रहा हूँ कि यार ये सिलसिला काफ़ी देर से चल रहा है और इसमें काफ़ी डिस्टर्बेंस हो रही है. सो ऑल ऑफ यू आर रिक्वेस्टेड प्लीज ज्वाइन द क्लास ऑन टाइम. आई एम डूइंग इट. So the most remarkable feature of the prologue is the assembly of the portraits of the pilgrims. And as I told you, that Chaucer's art of characterization is free from personal bias or animosity. Means no one has any doubt about this that he was a great, a master of characterization. He portrays characters objectively. Animosity against any one of them means you'll not find that anyone is against him. He is similar to Shakespeare and Fielding in this regard. Many writers or many critics have said that Shakespeare was first and he is after Shakespeare. Chaucer wisely kept many characters in the background whence they could be drawn in need arouse, and concentrated attention in some of the more picturesque ones. Means Chaucer reveals his characters by their. When you read Chaucer's, Canterbury Tales, so you'll find that, of course, his characters, like except the friar and the Franklin, are generally not romantic. You will find that Chaucer delights in presenting plain men and women interested in the normal course of living. You will find people from almost different walks of life. He reveals his characters by their colors, dresses, and their appearances. For example, you will find the first character, the knight's character, and now what is the importance of knight, and what was the importance of knight in that particular time. You can just understand. Sometimes it happens that the character is revealed to us through the thoughts and actions of the men and women. यानी कि वो हमें जो बता रहे होते हैं उस उनके जो थॉट्स हैं, उनके जो एक्शंस, उनसे भी हमें कैरेक्टर्स का पता चलता है. Gentility of the knight is revealed by his soothing words to other pilgrims. Railing of the miller and the reeve reflects their characters. Quarrels of the friar and summoner bring them out in their true colors. So you'll find there is an open atmosphere about his characters. तो इसको इंशाल्लाह हम एक अलग से क्लास में पढ़ेंगे, चौसर्स आर्ट ऑफ कैरेक्टराइजेशन. Then we have the prologue. A cross section of English life in the 14th century. It tells us about English life in the 14th century. It is the prologue to the Canterbury Tales is especially interesting because while suggesting the general framework of the tales, it gives a cross section of English life in the 14th century. कि उस वक्त इंग्लिश लाइफ क्या थी और उस वक्त के दौर के जो लोग थे उनके बारे में ये बताता है. A group of 30 pilgrims are assembled at the Tabard Inn in Southport, about to travel to the shrine of Thomas a Becket at Canterbury, and of each of these the poet draws a very clear and striking portrait. बहुत ज़बरदस्त पिक्चर उनकी ड्रॉ करता है. Each member of this company stands out distinctly, sparklingly alive, so that he remains for all time not only and sparkling alive, so that he remains for all time not only an individual but a type. And remember, we should know about that age as well. In those days, each class, trade, and profession had its distinctive dress. और उनके हर क्लास के और हर प्रोफेशन के अलग अलग distinctive dresses हुआ करते थे. So remember, in the last class we talked about Chaucer's age. So that is very important to know the characteristics of his age. As I told you, when we study any writers, we must know about some. We must know something about that writer's life and his works, and that writer's age, because when we know about his life and his age, so it becomes easy for us to understand about his work. The prologue has also been described as a veritable picture gallery. Veritable picture gallery. What does it mean? Yes. No one is. You can say anything, whatever you have in your mind. Your participation is very important. It will count.
So can you please repeat the question? Along with the previous
Yeah,
lines.
my question is this. The prologue has also been described as a veritable picture gallery. Veritable picture gallery. Veritable means which has a lot of variety. Veritable picture gallery. So what does it mean?
इसको हम ऐसे भी कह सकते हैं कि जो चौसर ने जो भी राइट अप अपने लिखे थे, ही वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट समथिंग डिफरेंट इन कैरेक्टराइजेशन. एक कैरेक्टर को एक दूसरी वैरायटी दे रहा था, मतलब उसको जो फॉर्म था ना उसका वो अलग था और दूसरे कैरेक्टर को दूसरा फॉर्म दे रहा था. आई थिंक दैट मींस समथिंग
Okay, very good effort.
रिलेटेड टू दिस.
और कोई इस पे does anybody want to make any effort? Veritable. Yes, veritable picture gallery. Actually, this word veritable or veritable, it means, when we talk about variety. Picture gallery means you'll find a picture gallery which has lots of variety. So when you see or read about his characters, you will find that you are looking at a gallery, picture gallery, where you will find different types of pictures. It would be more true to call it a grand procession, और कहा जाता है कि आप इसको grand procession कहेंगे तो ये भी गलत नहीं होगा. Grand procession में से एक बहुत बड़ा जुलूस with all the life and movement, जिसमें आपको life भी नजर आई, movement भी नजर आई, the color, the sound that we associate with the procession. Different pilgrims in the different Canterbury Tales represent different professions. फिर मजे की बात है कि वो different professions को भी represent करते हैं. Different professions, for example, आपका डॉक्टर मिलेगा, सर्जन मिलेगा, सर्जेंट ऑफ लॉ. इस तरह आपको इसमें ऑक्सफोर्ड क्लर्क मिलेगा, द फ्रायर embody, they all embody certain traits which characterize their respective professions. अब फ्रायर का ताल्लुक चर्च से है, डॉक्टर का ताल्लुक जो है क्लिनिक से है, सर्जेंट ऑफ लॉ आपको मिलेगा who belongs to definitely the field of law. The warlike element is represented by the knight. Knight जो है represent करता है warlike element. So you will find the knight warlike element is represented by the knight, the squire and the yeoman. These are the three figures. They represent warlike element. The plowman, the miller, the reeve, and the franklin. They represent agriculture. The sergeant of law, the doctor, the Oxford clerk, and the poet himself represent the liberal professions. फिर इसमें एक बहुत ज़बरदस्त कैरेक्टर है, द वाइफ ऑफ बाथ. द वाइफ ऑफ बाथ, द वीवर, द डायर. these people are included in industry and trade. मर्चेंट भी एक इसमें आपको नजर आएगा, द शिपमैन, पर्सनेट, दे रिप्रेजेंट कॉमर्स. तो इस तरह आपके बहुत सारे यहाँ पे कैरेक्टर्स नजर आएंगे, and they all represent some different profession. So this is something telling us about that particular society as well and that particular time as well. So if we conclude, so we can say that Chaucer shows his excellence in the description of the most prominent of his pilgrims, and the prologue is a masterpiece of insight, sureness of touch, fine description, and subtle humor. The prologue is a picture gallery, the first and finest specimen in English literature of the literature of characters, जिसमें हम characters को discuss करते हैं. किसी ने क्या खूब कहा है, of Chaucer's characters as described in his Canterbury Tales, some of the names or titles are altered. कुछ names और title तो altered हो गए, change हो चुके हैं by time, but the characters themselves ever remain unaltered. लेकिन जो characters हैं वो unaltered है, they are unchanged, and consequently they are the physiognomies or lineaments of universal human life, beyond which nature never steps. Means they have become, you can say, immortal characters. Means with the passage of time, they are becoming more and more famous, just like Shakespeare's plays, which are becoming famous, more and more famous with the passage of time, because it has universal appeal. So in characters, maybe it's like a universal appeal, which is not related to one specific age or one specific era, but which is related to all ages. So this is what we have about the prologue. I hope you have understood this one. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. You have only 2 minutes. और वो किताब आप ले लीजिएगा काइंडली, तो इंशाल्लाह आपको उसमें काफ़ी मवाद इस हवाले से मिल भी जाएगा, और मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि आप लोगों को हैंड आउट्स प्रोवाइड करूँ सून.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर,
यस प्लीज.
चौसर की एज हमने खत्म कर दी पढ़ के, या वो अलग से हम पढ़ेंगे?
क्वेश्चन की क्या?
चौसर की जो एज है ना, उसमें डिफरेंट इसकी कैटेगरीज आती है. चौसर की पोएटिक वर्क है, चीफ वर्क है.
हाँ, तो वो तो सब उसी में आएगा ना. ऑल दीज विल कम इन द कैटेगरी ऑफ चौसर's एज. Briefly we have to discuss. Actually, I told you, whenever we write, whenever we study any writer, so we study 3 things. Number 1, his life. Number 2, his age. Number 3, his work. If we directly start studying his work, we will not be able to understand what his work is, because writers normally write about their age. वो रोमांटिक्स राइटर्स थे जिनको आप देखेंगे उन्होंने अपने एज की जिसको डिस्कस ही नहीं किया, सिर्फ और सिर्फ नेचर, लव, ब्यूटी, इन चीज़ों के पीछे लगे रहे. अदरवाइज राइटर्स अपने दौर के बारे में बताते हैं और उससे काफ़ी इंस्पायर हो रहे होते हैं. अब आप अगर चौसर को पढ़ेंगे, आपको ये नहीं पता होगा कि चौसर पर किसका इन्फ्लुएंस ज़्यादा था, तो आप कैसे समझेंगे उसको? आपको ये नहीं पता होगा चौसर ने किस लैंग्वेज को ज़्यादा मतलब यूज़ किया, चौसर की तालीम क्या थी, उसका स्टाइल क्या था, या उसकी ज़िंदगी में के हर शख्स की ज़िंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे वाक़यात होते हैं जिनका बड़ा ज़बरदस्त इम्पैक्ट होता है, तो वो भी इंसान को काफ़ी मतलब ये कि चेंज करता है. सो दीज आर द थिंग विच वी शुड रिमेंबर. Any question now? Okay, now we are going to meet inshallah after 5 minutes, right? 5 मिनट के बाद दूसरा हमारा सेशन होगा, and that will be about the prologue. Inshallah, we will read the prologue now. Okay, see you inshallah after 5 minutes.
सर अटेंडेंस ले लें.
Okay, attendance. Just wait. Let me take the picture of your participant list. कोई बोलेगा नहीं बीच में. Okay, thank you. See you after 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.